Yo, how's it going everybody? It's me, Arctic. Today's video, we've got some information regarding some of the upcoming stuff for Genshin Impact. So, point one right here. Kuki Shinobu has a kitsune appearance like Yae, usually it brings along a mask. So what that probably means is that Kuki Shinobu is going to basically have one of those fox masks that we've seen on some of the other characters in game. Hiezo or Kuki Shinobu is going to be a Dendro character, so either one of them is being rumored to be a Dendro character, so that's going to be pretty cool. Point 3, now this is kind of a spoiler, but the Stoilen statue of the Seven that was in Mondstadt is near the Dandelion Sea. Now, Dandelion Sea, I don't really know exactly where this location is, but it could potentially be a DLC location for Mondstadt, and we'll talk more about that once we actually get into the later portions of this. Point 4, Dornman Port is located at northeast of the Dandelion Sea. It's not Mondstadt's largest port. So that seems to be actually a DLC location or part of the DLC location that we're going to be getting from Mondstadt. Probably eventually, I would say. Point 5, Sumeru City's location closely neighbors the chasm. Going past the chasm is immediately Sumeru's city region. So it's probably going to mean that across from the chasm, as soon as we pass by the chasm or through the chasm, we're going to be hitting Sumeru's city. The island to the west of Mount Hulao is called the Adepti's Abode, also called Long Watai, Dragon King's Stage, and it has architecture similar to Taoist temples. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see that. I think that's the one that's kind of close to, if I'm not mistaken, if it's close to like Shenhe's kind of like home or something, might be kind of in there. That might actually be where like Shenhe's actual like cloud retainer house is or something like that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the actual stuff that we saw in the trailer is a different location than Cloud Retainer's like mountain over there on that other side of Leeway. So we could be seeing something from that. Point 7, Sumeru is similar to Inazuma. It will still release during summer, the corresponding version being 2.9. So definitely at the end of summer, we're going to be seeing Sumeru actually in the game. So I don't know if we'll see Chasm before that. It's possible that we'll see Chasm, or at least like the Mondstadt region possibly before then as well, depending on which route they go, I would say. But if we see Chasm before that, we'd probably see Dendro like in an update, like in 2.7 or something at the earliest, I would say. So point 8 right here, Chapter 2, Act 5 of the Archon quest, I think, will come with the release of a region above Mondstadt. So it looks like we're probably going to be like exploring up to there, I would say, before, like in an interlude chapter before we actually head over to Sumeru, which kind of would make sense if we're just kind of like wandering around exploring and whatnot. It gives like the story more of an actual like kind of like actual more realistic kind of flow to the adventure, I would say, because then you're not just leaving the old city in the dust, you know, you kind of go back there, explore with the characters more. Very nice writing choices, I would say. To the northeast of the Dandelion Sea, there is a small island previously under the rule of kanrea'ah. So that seems to be, so northwest of the Dandelion Sea. Point 10 right here. Other than Baiju and Yunjin, Yaoya will lead us to the chasm, of which she will be given for free after inviting her. So basically that means like a hangout and something or another. Right here, sailing westward from the waypoint on the left side of Watatsumi Island, you will reach Sumeru's port. So that's going to be actually pretty cool once we actually see that, as soon as like Sumeru actually gets released. So basically sailing from Watatsumi, going over there, you can basically reach like Sumeru. Point 12, Varka is a muscle man similar to Arataki Ito. Hopefully a little bit more buff than Arataki Ito's character model, because they did him dirty, just saying. But we will be right up as Mondstadt's DLC region is released. So yeah, Varka's probably up north, something like that, in that DLC region or whatever town is up there. So that could be pretty interesting. And yeah, that might mean that Varka is actually going to be a little bit sooner than we kind of thought. Or this might just be like, oh yeah, that's when he's actually planned to be released. Point 13, the second weekly boss is the Shogun's puppet, and we need to help A defeat her. So it's probably another entity that's controlling that puppet of the Raiden Shogun, basically. Mondstadt's region is currently 60% released. Leeway region is currently 70% released. So quickly looking at the map here, it doesn't actually appear that we have the Dandelion Sea anywhere on here. So I don't know exactly where that would be, because it's not over here, it's not Bright Crown Canyon, it's not Stormterror Lair. Maybe, okay, so if I've got a few theories about this. So since we basically have the general map right here, you can see there's like a lakes and whatnot. basically terrain, unfinished terrain, but we got a general idea of what it's going to actually look like. So first up, I don't think it's actually going to be over in this area, just because this is like very hilly. I don't think they would have like a port trading through here, just because there's a bunch of like terrace kind of falls right here. I'm going to actually guess that the port is actually going to be in this area right here, partially because we don't really actually have anything on this side of the lake. So I feel like they could actually like make this area right here the actual new area that we're going to get. And this might be the Dandelion Sea right here, or the Dandelion Sea might be the actual sea, who knows. But I think that the port city is probably going to be right up here, considering also that there's a castle up here, or somewhere in this general area. There's going to be a castle located up here somewhere. Could be potentially like that. So I definitely think it's likely that this new area is going to be this north part right here. And this area, this lake might actually be called the Dandelion Sea. And so northwest of the Dandelion Sea, this might be the actual area that they're referring to. Now, where this island could potentially be, I'm not sure where it's actually going to be. It might be out here, like out somewhere else, because kanrea'ah is rumored to be over like outside of the map, you know. So we really don't know exactly where this is going to be, but or it could be inside of this lake area. Who knows, but it wouldn't make sense. It's a very, very like small lake, I would say, in retrospect of actually how big these lakes are, you know, so it wouldn't really make that much sense. And yeah, going back to the map, that kind of makes sense because, let's see, Mondstadt. Dragonspine's technically part of Mondstadt, so we've got Mondstadt, we've got Dragonspine right here. This area right here, we've got Stormterror's Lair. This goes all through here. The Gorge, whatnot, some stuff over here. We don't have this region up above here, which definitely is part of Mondstadt, and we don't have this like area that's like right here. I'm thinking that this area right here is going to actually end up being part of Leeway probably, just because of how these like mountain ridges like kind of flow. I'm thinking that there's going to be like a zone of Leeway up here or in this kind of area also, kind of connecting the map. But yeah, Mondstadt definitely up to the north right here. I would think that we'd have more area of Mondstadt, so consider like 40% more Mondstadt up here. And then as for Leeway, 70% released. Yeah, we've got a few areas right here that we could potentially be looking at. Inazuma is actually marked on here, which is nice. So Watatsumi Island right here, as you can see, going across this, that's going to basically lead us to Sumeru's coast, as was said in the leak. This might actually be part of Leeway that's actually going to be released. And the chasm right here, the Sumeru city is probably going to be over in this area, I would say, with and then like the rest of Sumeru stretching down here. Sumeru should end up being like a pretty big region, I would say. But then you've also technically got this area right here that's going to be part of Leeway. And honestly, with how they're actually color shading this, I would tend to actually lean towards like this area right here is going to be like the edges of Leeway, and that's going to factor into the percentage released. The edges of Chasm, like I already said. But yeah, then all this yellow area is probably going to be part of Leeway as well. We're probably going to get some more stuff up to this, which might actually be where the Adeptus abode is actually going to end up being. Who knows? It's kind of near some of these mountains, so basically the further you get into the actual Adeptus territory. But then this lake right here might actually be part of Fontaine. I'm not sure if it would be or not, but yeah, that's basically all my speculation that I can give you guys at the moment. If you guys like this video, remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 11,000 subscribers, so it really helps me out a lot if you do. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I'll see you guys next time. Farewell.